In this video, I'll show you how to enter an academic assessment. I'm at the Hofstra University Outcomes Assessment landing page. I'll click on the Planning Tools, and I'll navigate to the Departmental's Outcomes Assessment Documents. Click on Dashboard at the top menu. At this lower menu, I'll go to the tab that says Assessments. Now I have to find on this organizational chart the particular department for which I'll enter these documents, expand the level for academic units and for colleges. And I'm going to be adding information for the psychology department. I'll click on Hofstra College and I'll find the psychology department. Here we go. Psychology has just expanded that level, has several programs. We want to do this practice assessment for the BA program. Here we go. We already have a number of practice assessments. I'm going to add one more. So I'll click on New Item. This is an academic assessment. These other assessments, reflective narrative, is a very short form if you want to describe a set of assessments over a 3-year period, a 4-year period. An executive summary is a very short form used to describe all the assessments done for 1 year. But let's say you just want to report on a particular assessment that was done, say, using the standardized test like the Major Fields test. So I'll click on New Item, Academic Assessment Form. This form is also called a data type. It's a template for entering information of a particular kind of document. I'm not going to fill in all the fields just to save time, but I'll describe them to you. We'll give this assessment a title and a brief description, and let's just call this Practice Assessment 5 Major Field Test. Right? You want to keep the title short, maybe 40 characters or fewer. You can add more information under the brief description. You would give this a start and an end date. You can choose different dates or it'll default to the current year. I'm going to indicate the progress is completed. You can add a faculty member's name. That's the person who, say, is responsible for this assessment. The providing department is the psychology department. That's given by default. You can select what is being assessed from the drop-down menu, and in this case it's here we go, discipline-specific knowledge. You can also select more than one. Have you related this assessment to your department learning objectives? Well, not yet. I'll show you how to do it. There's instructions right here if you roll over the information icon, but we're going to do it. First, you need to save the work that you've done. You can't get the editing tabs or the related tabs to show up until you've saved some work. I'll scroll back to the top. And now we're going to click on the related tab so we can connect this assessment to a learning objective. Okay. We want this upper item, this academic assessment form supports, and we'll add the learning objective that it supports. It's the document that's higher in the hierarchy that this is connected to. I click on Add, and on the left-hand organizational menu, I'm going to select the Psychology Department BA program. So I can see all of the documents that are in that program's storage site, and I want to select the item that I connect this to. Here I'm looking at all of the learning objectives, and I want to connect this particular assessment to objective Psych BA 1A, basic knowledge, and also to the second objective, applied knowledge. It's a test of knowledge provided by the Educational Testing Service. And that's it. I'll click on Add, And now this assessment is related to these particular objectives. Okay, I'll close this. Now the relating is done. Oops. I want to go back to what I was just editing, which is Practice Assessment 5. Okay. To get to Related, I would click on the Related tab. To simply go back and edit, you can go back to the Edit tab here. And we haven't left the form. All right, I'm leaving the brief description blank for now. We're completed here. We're assessing discipline-specific knowledge. We've related the assessment to the departmental learning objectives. I can also add information about the assessment tools and methods. Here, by clicking on Edit, I can simply add the major fields test and as much information as I want. All right. I'll just put in MFT as a shortcut. Update. All right. I can also add documents to any particular field. I can add, say, a table of data from Educational Testing Service or an Excel file that the department made. Right? You just look for the File Library section and then just add a folder or add a file. All right. For type of assessment, we have a drop-down menu, and this type of assessment is a standardized test. You can select more than one, but typically there'll only be one choice that's appropriate. The sample population, in this case, is undergraduates. I can describe the population further by saying they're seniors, or whatever I'd like to say. Click on Update. And there we have seniors. I didn't use institutional research services, so leave that blank. My tools and methods are complete, so check that off. Data results interpretation. I can add information here. I can also upload a table, data set. Any digital document can be added to any one of these fields. So for data results interpretation, I'll simply say that 62% of students reached the 50th percentile on the national norms. Okay, I'll update that field. My data results are complete. It's very helpful to give the operational definition of success. How do we know that a student has met the department-defined threshold? And let's say for the major fields test, we would like to see every student reach the 50th percentile. So I'll just add 50th on MFT. That's our criteria for success. And now we can count or compute a proportion of all the students that have reached this threshold, and we can compare the proportions across administrations of the major fields test, across years, whatever we'd like to do. It's a very simple metric for comparing data across different assessments. All right, my success threshold is the 50th percentile. The percent successful is 62 for this example. I can add recommendations. I can also upload a larger document. I'll skip that for now for the sake of time. My recommendations are complete. I can talk about implementation such as curricular changes or adding new courses. I can also upload a folder here. I can indicate whether or not implementation is complete. I'll also indicate the date of final completion. We'll use the calendar to select today, the 22nd of April. And that's it. You've just entered a practice assessment. I can hit Save and Close. You can always go back later and add information. And here's the item we've just added, Practice Assessment 5 Major Fields Test. And that's it.